Thomas Alva Edison was a genius. The invention of the electric bulb and the gramophone has made him famous all over the world. This great scientist was very inquisitive since childhood. He loved to do experiments and find out the things for himself. Let's read more about this great scientist of America. Thomas Alva Edison was one of the greatest scientists of the 20th century. He is one of those few people who have made the world better and brighter. With his efforts, he is famous for his invention of electric bulb, the gramophone, and many other useful things. Edison was born in 1847 in a small village in America. His father was a poor carpenter. The little boy had a very big head, and everybody thought that it was due to some disease. But in course of time, this boy turned out to be one of the greatest scientists the world has ever produced. Edison was very inquisitive since childhood. He would ask so many questions that some people even thought that there was something wrong with him. One day, while Edison was in the school, his teacher was teaching about birds. Suddenly, Edison got up and said, "Madam, why can't men fly like birds?" "Because they don't have wings," the teacher replied. Edison was not satisfied with the answer. "But madam, kites also have no wings. Then how can they fly?" he asked again. The teacher became irritated. She thought that Edison was trying to make fun of her by asking unnecessary questions. So she asked his parents to take him out of the school. Edison was taken out of school at an early age due to no fault of his. He was fond of asking all sorts of questions and was never satisfied until he got the right answers. He loved to do experiments and see things for himself. Now, Edison's mother began to teach him at home. Edison found a good teacher in his mother. She always heard him patiently and tried to answer all his questions. Edison was a good observer. He used to observe things minutely and did a lot of experiments to find out the reasons behind. Some of his experiments were silly, but he learned a lot out of them. One day, he saw a bird. It picked up some worms and flew back to a tree. Edison was watching the bird carefully. The birds eat worms, and so they can fly, he thought. If a man eats it, he should also fly like a bird. So he caught a few worms, beat them into a pulp, and mixed it with water. Then he gave the mixture to his maid. "If you drink this mixture, you can fly like a bird," he said. The poor girl believed Edison and drank the mixture. You can well imagine what might have happened to her. She could not fly but fell ill. When Edison's mother came to know of the incident, he got a good beating from her. On another occasion, he went to a poultry farm with his mother. There, he saw a hen sitting on its eggs. "Why is the hen sitting on the eggs?" he asked his mother. "It is hatching its eggs. After some time, chicken will come out of the eggs," his mother replied. Young Edison thought to try it out himself. He collected some eggs and sat over them to hatch. When he got up after some time, he didn't find any chicken there. However, his shorts were spoiled. Wasn't he really a funny boy, doing all such silly experiments? Though he failed in his experiments, he had learned a lot from them. He realized that his ideas were wrong. Edison was fond of reading books. His father also encouraged him to grow up his reading habits. He gave him 25 cents for every book he read. With the money he got from his father, he purchased more books and set up a small library. His mother also encouraged him and helped him in his experiments. At the age of only 12 years, Edison became a newspaper boy. At first, his parents didn't like the idea, but when Edison convinced them, they had to agree. He traveled in the train to Detroit and sold newspapers, fruits, and sweets. He earned $2 on the very first day. He gave $1 to his mother and said, "I shall give you $1 every day from my earnings." And he kept his promise. Very soon, he set up a small printing press in the carriage of a train and began to print his own newspaper there. But one day, an accident occurred and he had to lose his job. Edison spent the next 5 years working in different cities. He met a lot of experts, talked to them, asked them questions, and learned a lot. He also read many new books and his knowledge increased considerably. In 1877, he started working on a machine that could reproduce human voice. At first, people thought him to be crazy and laughed at his funny idea. But he was not discouraged. He worked day and night and succeeded in making one the next year. He named it the talking machine, and we call it the gramophone today. He became famous all over America. Now he was successful and prosperous. It became possible only due to his hard work and his mother's help and encouragement. In those days, there was no electric light. People used oil lamps and candles to light their houses. Edison promised to give the people electric light within 2 years. In March 1878, he began to work on an electric lamp. He performed more than 1,000 experiments, but all failed every time. But this great scientist didn't lose heart. He worked harder than before and at last succeeded in making the electric lamp. On 4th September 1882, New York City was